everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this Wednesday, April 6, 2022. Jeremy Crosby here. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Glad you're tuning in with us for Talking Fitchburg. We got a jam-packed show for you today. We'll get you the latest headlines coming up. We're going to continue our talk with Severe Weather Awareness Week. We'll be discussing flooding today. Flooding becoming a big part of the severe weather. And, you know, we had that flooding here several years ago now that just was something to see, and it sneaks in so fast. So we're going to just talk about the safety tips on that coming up. Plus, we're going to check in with the Department of Trade Consumer Protection. We're going to be talking about charity scams. And certainly we want to give charity to anybody and everybody, but we want to do it safely. We'll have some tips here. So you make sure you're donating to the right cause and not getting in trouble or losing out on donating. That's coming up. But first, let's turn our attention to the headlines, and we start with job openings. You want to join Team Fitchburg? You can't have my spot. You can't have Andrew's spot, but you could be part of the team and maybe come and visit us. That'd be cool. We're cool people. Well, if that doesn't do it for you, just look at these jobs. I wonder, it'd be great if the HR director was watching this. She'd be like, oh my gosh, this guy is, yeah. All right, Assistant Public Works Director, Building Attendant. We've got a Civil Engineering Intern, Community Services Officer, a new position coming up. Court Cashier, Engineering Technician 2, Environmental Project Engineer, a part-time position. Groundskeeper position, Library Shelver, Program Assistant with a sign-on bonus of $500. Public Works Parks and Street Maintenance Worker, that's a full-time position. Public Works Street Maintenance Worker, full-time position as well. Seasonal Parks Maintenance Worker, that one has a $500 bonus sign-on. And Seasonal Utility Maintenance Worker, that one has a sign-on bonus as well. If you want to join Team Fitchburg, all you got to do is go to our website, fitchburgwi.gov, fill out the application, and we'll get you in for an interview. Turning our attention to the election, spring election was held yesterday. We have the unofficial results for you. You can find all of these over at our website at fitchburgwi.gov. Take a look. And as Andrew goes through the different races that took place and the numbers, I'm going to read you some of the percentages of turnout. So percentage turnout in district number 1 was at 26.33%. Turnout at district number 2 was at 20.82%. District 3, we had 12.82%. District 4, we had 21.80%. And the total turnout for the city was about 20%, 20.38%. As far as the municipal election goes, there was one race, contested race, and that was in District Number 1, Seat 2. Joe Maldonado moves on and will continue to hold his seat for another 2 years, as well as incumbents Gabriella Shannon and Randy Udell. Those were uncontested, and they all moved on. And then school district-wise, too, there was some not referendums. Wow, don't say that. There was school board pieces for school districts. You're seeing those here on your screen. And finally, that leads up to our numbers in where and how each of the districts did for absentee voting or in-person voting. You can see those numbers there. And we had a number of absentee voters come out again this year. And we appreciate all the help, all of you folks coming out to vote, all of the election workers that helped this, our clerk's department, and of course, our maintenance and buildings and ground. They are all, it's a big team effort to pull off election each and every year. We appreciate their time. Again, all those elections, by the way, are on our website, fitchburgwi.gov. Also on our website, the summer activity guide. Work on that reverb, Andrew. Summer is almost here. Check out everything you need to get planned for this summer. That's right. Fitchburg Recreation Activity Guide is available for you. Tells you about all the different things happening this summer. And if you haven't already, you need to book up on those activities because they're getting booked fast. Call now. And yeah, they'll be ready to take your call and get your kiddo signed up. Or head to the website, fitchburgwi.gov, go to the recreation page and check out what's available. And of course, we heard from CC earlier in the month. She said, even if they're full, get on the waiting list because you never know. All right, turning our attention to the town of Madison. There's a town of Madison public information meeting coming up. It was just scheduled recently. This will be on Thursday, April 28th. On October 31st, a portion of the town of Madison will become the city of Fitchburg. We're so excited. Join us for this public information meeting to learn how this may change or affect you and your family. If you live in the corridor, you will hear from city leaders, government officials, and have opportunity to ask questions. And that's what we want. We want lots of questions to help welcome everybody aboard here to the city of Fitchburg, April 28th, 6:30 p.m. at the Courts Benefits Building, 2650 Novation Parkway in the town there. And again, if you got any questions now, you can head to our website, fitchburgwi.gov, and click on the town of Madison attachment. We've got that information on there and in multiple languages as well. So you can check that out and learn more about coming on board here. We're happy that you're joining our city. We've got a lot of events planned too. We'll get to share those coming up. Other news, only raindrops should fall. A fall prevention class coming up here. Have you suffered from a fall or ever worried about falling? Well, you can join out at the Verona Senior Center on April 26th. Safe Communities will be running a fall prevention class there. We have one happening here at Fitchburg as well. But in case you missed that one, you've got the big event coming here at Safe Communities. You can learn the risks in reducing falling. All that information is on your screen, and you can check with the Senior Center Verona for more information. All right, move over and keep our first responders safe. If you see this, do this. That's the only part I wrote in my script, by the way. See these? Do this. Yes, if you need to slow down and move over, we're getting into springtime where there's a lot of work happening on the roads. There can be crashes. There can be anything. But when you see any of these vehicles on the side of the road, you need to slow down first off and move over. If you are not able to move over, you still need to reduce your speed and slow down and be safe. We want everybody to get home, no matter if they're working as public safety or you as well. Everybody wants to get home safely. So please slow down, move over, and stay safe as you're driving. All right, that does it for our headlines. Coming up next, we're opening up our digest. We have Severe Weather Awareness Week. It continues. We're talking about flood safety. That's next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it. So follow guidance from authorities where you live and do your part. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit any social gathering. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
Our hearts are made stronger by how we treat others.
Put her there.
The light you share can impact those around you, but so can the darkness.
Later, twerps.
Did Pete saying mean things bother you?
So when you reach out to another person, take a moment to consider how they will feel and let your heart be the key to making a difference. Because of you, someone's entire day, year, or even life can change.
In every heart, there's hope.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
Ready!
We don't have time for spills.
Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. In the digest, we're continuing our series of Severe Weather Awareness Week happening across Wisconsin. Today, we're going to be talking about flooding. And as a reminder, all of the stuff we talked about this week, it is up at the National Weather Service Milwaukee Sullivan's website, readywisconsin.com. They all have it, and the information is transparent, so you can get out there, read it. do some more investigating on your own. I'm only sharing the general tips that they have here to bring awareness to this. And reminder that tomorrow on the show, we're going to have Joe Polvemacher as we work through the tornado drill. And we'll talk about that at the end of this segment. And on Friday, we're going to have Tim Halbach from the National Weather Service Milwaukee Sullivan office. He'll be here on the show to discuss everything we've talked about this week, and love catching up with Tim. So excited. That's when I nerd out. I mean, that's just the way it is. And if you know me, you know I love weather. Let's get into this, though. And talking about flooding, we're going to start with Wisconsin flood fatalities. Just how serious this is. It is. It's a mess, right? So starting with this and how the chart breaks down during a flood, water levels and flow speeds can quickly change. You are the safest by staying home indoors or seeking higher ground if shelter isn't available. 76.9% of Wisconsin flood fatalities occur when people go to flooded areas. They go to flooded areas. So as far as the fatalities break out here, unknown at 7%, swimming fatalities at 7.7%, boating, at home. And then you get into that driving piece, excuse me, it jumps up 61.5%. And this photo here does justice. This is on Madison's west side. And in fact, that day of this was the major flood a couple of years ago. I drove through this road an hour before this happened, 1 hour. The intersection that was back towards Menards at here on Mineral Point Road was already underwater. But when I went through here, the water was just coming up, and this was taken just an hour later. That's how quickly it happened. And that was record fall, right? That was the 100-year flood, if you will, that happened, that we don't ever plan on seeing, right? But it happens, and it happens quickly. So let's talk about some of the statistics that we know. First off here, just in flooding in general, in the past 30 years, flooding has typically been the number one thunderstorm-related killer in the United States. The number of flooded-related deaths goes up and down each year. However, in recent trend has been down, thank goodness. For the period of 1988 through 2012, there was an average of 80 fatalities each year due to a direct result of flash flood events across the United States. And in 2012, there were 28 flood-related fatalities in the U.S. It happens. And it's preventable, all preventable, right? So what can we do? Well, let's take a look. Flash flood can occur as a result of heavy rains falling over a short period of time, usually only in a few hours or less. They can be caused by ice jams or rivers or even a dam or levee break. The sudden buildup of water can cause a large crest of water to quickly move quickly downstream, wiping out almost everything in its path. Flash floods are capable of rolling boulders, tearing out trees, and destroying buildings quickly with little or no warning. Flooding is considered one of the most common and widespread of all natural disasters. It can occur just about anywhere. Wisconsin is certainly not immune from this type of disaster. We've seen it, folks. We know it's true. Wisconsin has many landmarks, both man-made and natural, that make these areas more susceptible to flash flooding. For instance, Wisconsin had many old earthen dams within are getting weaker every year. If one of these dams were to break, the areas around them would be threatened by flash flooding. For safety's sake, I like that. For safety's sake, find out if there's an earthen dam in your area. Do you even know if that exists in your area? You should check that out. Flash flooding due to ice jams. Well, I don't really have that around here, but maybe you have property or something that's on somewhere where this could build up at, right? Is common in Wisconsin since Wisconsin usually has a long, cold winters and rivers almost always freeze over. A sudden wall of water releases the ice jam and breaks up during the thaw can be extremely unpredictable. Can happen very quickly. We've seen some of this happen, and a lot of time you see this where you have ice that has built up and pushed onto people's property. We get that video every single year, and you see it on newscasts and stuff, but it moves quickly. Not good. All right, moving on. You've got flash floods kill dozens of people and their vehicles each year. We saw the statistic in Wisconsin. Driving is at 61.5%. And as little as 6 inches of fast-moving water can move your vehicle, and 2 feet of water is enough to float your vehicle. Avoid flooded bridges and never drive through flooded roadways. Cannot stress this enough. Turn around, don't drown. Be especially cautious just at night when it is harder to recognize flood dangers. And then that big flood that happened a couple years ago, that's what happened. We got in the nighttime and there were a ton of rescues. You can't see the water, right? You can't see the road ahead of you and you end up in the water. But you should never, ever, ever take a chance in flooded water. What happens if you get in the water and you get sucked away? Yeah, and you might not be able to get rescued. I mean, it's that quick, folks. Flash flood is headed your way. You may only have a few seconds to save your life. Abandon all personal property and flee to higher ground if a flash flood is approaching. Any delay, even for seconds, could be the difference between life and death, which is so true. Turn around, don't drown. If there was one thing today that you take away from this, it's turn around, don't drown. Angel, let's get to the watches and warnings as we have them. So a flash flood watch is issued when flooding is possible. So we know what's going to happen. The watch is put out. A lot of time we'll get a lot of rain. Like we've been getting a lot of rain here, but if we were due up for some more rain and the ground's already soaked, then we're probably going to get a flash flood watch for sure. Flash flood warning. This happens, means flooding is happening or it's about to happen. Move to higher ground immediately. Never drive or walk through flooded waters. So flash flood watch, be prepared. Flash flood warning, you got to take action. And a lot of times you get the phones that go off for flash flooding. And like I said, you don't know if you live in an area, a low-lying area where there is water potentially, or water building up, this pertains to you. If you're planning on traveling, then you need to reconsider because flash flooding could occur in any of these things. We're getting better and about where the warnings are going up and where the flooding's happening, but flash flood warnings are serious. To get more information on flood safety and awareness, head to floodsafety.noaa.gov. So I almost said that backwards. And you can find more information there. National Weather Service, Margie Sullivan. That's where we pulled this information, which is part of all of the presentation this week of Severe Weather Awareness Week. And let's talk about building that kit. As a reminder, we want you to build the kit, the safety kit. ReadyWisconsin.gov has got you covered. Know your designated shelter and where it's located whether you're at home, work, or school. Be ready if a tornado warning is issued, or in this case, flash flood warning. Where are you going to go? Do you have a plan? It's time to make one. Have multiple ways to receive those weather warnings as the weather approaches. Outdoor warning sirens, NOAA radio, smartphone app. Use them all. Have them all ready for you because you're making life-saving decisions during tough times. So you want to have as much warning as possible and keep up to date with the daily forecast. And make sure you create a emergency kit at home. You can find ways to build those kits. ReadyWisconsin.wi.gov has that information. And reminder, tomorrow is a way to put your put your plan into action. 1:45 p.m. and at 6:45 p.m. there'll be statewide tornado drills. It's a great way to practice it at your work, school, home, business during each time. And as far as I can tell, I don't believe there'll be any severe weather tomorrow, so these should be going off as promised. But if they do delay, it'll be pushed back to the 8th. But I don't think we'll have that. But either way, practice that. And tomorrow we'll have Joe Povemacher on the show as we practice it here at City Hall. We'll be interviewing him live. It'll be like a look-alive, we call it, but we'll interview him during that and have that for you at Talking Fitchburg on Thursday night. All right, that does it for me. Coming up next, we open up our guest segment. We're checking in with the Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection, and we're talking about charity scams. That's all next right here on Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check NHTSA.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today is Michael from Department of Ag, Trade, Consumer Protection. He's here to talk to us today about charity scams. And we've had going on well over a couple of weeks now, and coming up on a month already, of the invasion in Ukraine. And people are probably and have been looking for ways to donate. But anytime there's a big situation like this, unfortunately, there always seems to be scams tied with it. So, Michael, as we're looking at this as a whole, this scams for charities happens frequently.
It does. Thanks, Jeremy, for the opportunity to talk about this a little bit. Anytime we have a situation, usually it revolves around a disaster or something negative, we'll find criminals that prey on the human spirit and the willingness to give. And so with the Ukraine, what we're encouraging everybody is if you're looking for an opportunity to help assist with that, pay close attention to a couple things. The first one could be look at the organization closely that you want to donate to. Mostly, did they reach out to you or are you looking for them? And if you're looking at them, pay attention to the small things, like is the website .org or .com. Most legitimate charities are .org. And so what's one thing you can do? Another one is you can go ahead and back check those on a couple websites. The first one would be charitynavigator.org or give.org. Both of those will help you look up and see if it's a legitimate charity. And if you're giving here in Wisconsin, you can also check with our Department of Financial Institutions, because then you need to register with them for any charity opportunities. So make sure they're all legitimate.
Absolutely. And if you're getting, we'll start with just some of the callers. So you get a call randomly asking for your support in a charity affecting something that has to do with specifically Ukraine or whatever the case may be. Would you say donate to that or not?
Most often we say if you're receiving an unsolicited phone call or email, don't give them that immediate message or that call or anything like that right away. Go online, do a little back checking to make sure that it's legitimate, see who they're giving to, see if they actually have an organization, a website that's being published, check some of those other areas that I talked about. Most often we encourage everyone to be the initiator of the donation or the giving, and don't immediately buy into when you're being solicited. Oftentimes you're going to get pressured, and that's how the scam works. They try and can on that immediacy of that contact and your willingness to give, and next thing you know, you're being taken advantage of.
And then as far as what to donate, so I've already donated something. I did it through a business who sells goods and services, and they were just giving part of their profits to a specific organization related. But if you're looking at like a cash payment or wire transfer or something, there you hear the red flags kind of pop up there. But what should you be, when you're thinking about giving money, what type of money would you really want to give?
It's a great point, and unfortunately businesses are forced into being creative in how they're going to give to create that trust and validity to their efforts. The most common type of scam that we see is encouraging donations through gift cards or wire transfers, or really things that are untraceable. And we discourage everyone from doing that. What we would donate is go directly to that organization's website, make sure you're checking the address and all that, and then donate directly through there. Don't do anything that you can't get back. And the last one that I want to mention is we're seeing a growing trend of charities trying to solicit cryptocurrency. And that's probably the hardest one for us to try and recover from. So I would discourage anyone from donating to a charity with crypto.
Yeah, I think when you talk about untraceable, that would be a very tough one to do so. And those should be common red flags. I mean, these types of things you just described are pretty common in a lot of scams that we talk about here. So a lot of the same tactics, whether it's via email, whether it's phone, whether it's through social media, generally speaking, they all have these similar things and that you guys get reports on all the time. Is that right?
You're absolutely right. The pitch and the ruse are always the same. The only thing that changes is the disaster or the event that they're trying to scam you from.
All right, so going back to the legitimacy and verifying that they are correct, you had mentioned a few of the resources out there. If you do find out that they are fake, would you recommend turning them in, or how would you go about that process of reporting? Because I think that's also an important piece of this is we got to report it if you guys are going to be able to find and figure out who's behind this.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's three areas that I would suggest you can go ahead and report to. You know, if it's here in Wisconsin and you don't question it, you can certainly contact the Department of Financial Institutions on their website and let them know what's going on, and they'll take a look. If you donate it to an organization that is, you know, somewhere across the country, around the world, you can always reach out to the Federal Trade Commission, and that's a federal organization that looks into those kind of things. And then the last one, I would encourage everyone to contact us, you know, the Department of Agriculture, Trade, and Consumer Protection. You can either send us an email, go to our website at datcp.wi.gov, or give us a call on our hotline at 800-422-7128, and we'll take a look into that as well.
And finally, Michael, if somebody does think that they've been scammed, so they go to check their accounts or something and realize, oh boy, you know, something's wrong here, what would be the best place to start to try to figure out, you know, where's my next step, if you will?
If something like that happens and you realize you may have been victimized or there's impact to your account, first thing to do is go to our website, datcp.wi.gov, and just search identity theft. And we have a lot of helpful tips there, freezing your credit, making sure your banks are aware of what happened so that I guess that level of loss doesn't increase. There's a bunch of steps that we'll walk you through there, and then also some contact information to give us a shout, and we'll help you out with that.
As usual, kind of stop, slow down, think about, watch those red flags, and you know, we want to help. Everybody wants to help, I think, no matter what it is. But we just want to make sure that we do it and do it legitimately, the best that we can. And it's doing your homework probably is the sum up here, wouldn't you say?
I would, Jeremy. You know, the thing we always say is if it's too good to be true, it probably is. And trust your gut. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't right. And you know, don't give into that immediate need to want to give and help. Make sure you're doing it the right way.
Yeah, Michael, thank you so much for the tips. And we appreciate your time. We'll check back in with you later this month.
All right. Thanks, Jeremy. Take care.
And as Michael said, check out their website, DATCP. They've got great resources out there to answer a lot of these questions. And yeah, when we talk about these things, I hear these red flags all the time. They just sound off or see red flags and bells, whistle, whatever. Just do your due diligence, research, and again, check out Department of Trade Consumer Protection website for more information. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
Como padre, todos los días son un desafío. Y hay que estar ahí presentes. No importa lo cansado que uno esté, hay que estar ahí presentes para ellos. Cuando los niños aprenden algo nuevo, es ese momento mágico y especial. Y creo que presenciar ese momento es mi favorito.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why?
My.
Oh.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg, wrapping up the show. I want to thank Michael from the Department of Trade Consumer Protection is helping us out with those charity scams. Go to the website, DATCP's website for more information on that. And please report these scams. Report people that are doing things wrong. We got to do that. It's the only way we're going to bust these folks and put them in jail. Girl. All right. I got myself excited there. Girl. You can get excited by going on to Fact TV's website or check us out on social media.